Good morning. Early. It's early. So, as I said in my first video, that this is a channel not only about proper product designs, but it's also a channel, to give it some tips and tricks to others and pass along the knowledge that I've, gleaned from watching lots of YouTube videos. So today, a friend of mine asked me, she's starting to stamp on aluminum. She has copper, but she hasn't opened it yet. And she's starting with aluminum, which is a great metal to start with. It's very soft and easy to stamp on and not expensive. So if you mess it up, you've only wasted a few dollars, not lots of dollars. So I've already taken the protective film off the front. I don't usually take it off the back because if somebody wants to try it on, just it's easy to wipe clean. I guess the metal would be easy to wipe clean, but it's just my preference. So if you notice, let's see if you can see that, there's a little rounded edge and then there's kind of a sharp edge. And these are die stamps, so this die comes down and punches these out. And so you'll see where it's round and then it has a little bit of a sharp point. So this is the top where the rounded part is. And I mean, I guess you could do the back side. It doesn't really matter, but you'd have to, I'm going to polish it anyhow on the sides, but that's where you start. Okay, and so one of her questions was how to get it straight. Well, painter's tape is your friend. Now they do sell, Impress Art has a little booklet of stickers that are a little bit thicker than the masking tape. Masking tape is so cheap, people. So what you're going to do is you're just going to, let's get down here where you can see what I'm doing. All right, so pull off, a little bit. Doesn't have to be the whole thing, but okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of eyeball it here because you want your words to be kind of in the center of the stamp. So just tape it down. And then, of course, I go ahead and I tape this down to my block. So there we are. Okay, so it's taped down to my block. You could even put another piece of tape on here just so that it doesn't do this, but I don't care about that. All right, now the next thing, before you stamp, you need to figure out what you're going to put on your metal. Now this is a 6-inch. And I like to do it this way. In fact, I'm going to kind of clean that up a little bit. And that gives me a pretty good starting point. So there's my center. It's important to know your center because one word, you can pretty much center it, however you'd like. But if you're going to be doing different words, phrases, then what you're going to have to do is write that out. And I use just regular grid paper. Write it out, and if you'll notice there's numbers there, those are the numbers of the how many words plus your spaces. Make sure that you count your spaces also, because otherwise it'll be wonky. And if you want wonky, that's cool, but there you go. So I'm going to take something simple. Let's do peace. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our A is our center starting point. So I'm going to get, and I leave this next to me because You'd be surprised how many times you can misspell a word when you're doing half a word and then the other half. So let's start out with the A. And today I'm using my Impress Art. This is, I believe, Juniper. Yes, Juniper, lowercase, 3mm. All right. And some of these, if you notice, let's see how you can see that. I saw it there. If you notice, there's the little A right there. Some of them have that. So what this means is when I stamp, I want that A pointing towards me. Because otherwise, I'm going to get an upside down letter. Now, I do highly suggest that you get a practice blank. Because you want to make sure where you're going. You definitely do. So I know my center is there. So I want to place this on the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to butt this up till I can feel the tape. I'm going to sit it right there. And this is why I like the little stubby ball peen hammer. You can really get up on it, but I kind of back a little bit. And then one good hit. That's all it takes. So I'll show you that. Get a nice deep impression. There you go. You can see it there, I guess. Right there. Nice deep impression, but not too deep, so you're not like trying to hammer through the metal. And now remember that you're only moving metal. You're not removing metal. You're just moving it around. So you want to make sure that you stay in your center, because if you move up too high, it will start bowing out your metal. It'll push that metal out. So we have our A. Now let's go ahead and get our C. That's E. So A, B, C. There we go. And again, make sure that C's facing you. I always look at it. Now for spacing, this is something that a lot of people have problems with. And spacing is pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, when I look down, basically I'm right at the edge of the A, the back half of the A. Again, I'm going to come down, I'm going to feel where my tape is. One good hit. That's it. Now we go for E. Doing the same thing, lining it up so if I look straight down, I'm at the very end of my C. One good tap. Okay. Maybe I need the E again. Now, to go backwards, we're going to do actually the same thing. We're going to slide it down, and we're going to be right at the front of the A now. One good tap. Boom. There we go. And let's add the P. And I like to test the P because, you know, that's not a P. That's, looks like a B. This one says B, but I bet you anything it's going to be something weird. Yep, that's a Q. This looks like a P. Let's see. This is another reason. There we go. There's our P. And now the thing of it is I'm using lowercase, and I can go down, and this is a little tricky when you're doing this, is especially if you have anything that goes down below that first line, because you can't just slide it up to your tape and hit it. Now I'm going to, because I'm going to go ahead and raise this just a bit. Well, let me do it right then. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get it just below the curve of the P, so that I have that little dangle literally below Okay, that looks about right. Fingers crossed. Give that an extra little stamp. Okay, well that looks really good. That looks really good. And if you notice, it is kind of bending here in the center. That's not a problem. This is, see, nice and straight. It is bent, but that's not a problem. That's when you come back in with a rubber. You want rubber. You want rubber. You don't want to hit this now with anything hard, because, well, it'll show up. So what I do is I just simply turn it around, give it a couple of taps with my plastic rubber mallet. Straightens it out pretty nicely. And then you can add more things to it. They sell, this is an Impress Art enamel marker. You can definitely do it with this. What I suggest you do is, once you put it on, leave it alone. Walk off, go get you another cup of coffee, whatever you want to do. Let it completely dry. And that's important. Because otherwise you're just going to wipe out all the color that's in there. So, and it's just really simple. Just fill it in, make sure it's all in there. Just really kind of scrub it in and let it dry. Let it dry. Now, another thing, if you're making bracelets, I highly, highly, highly recommend getting if it'll come out of the hole. Oh, it's so frustrating. Straighten up. Jesus. And now it's bent. So let's see if we can get that straightened out. There we go. Oh, hate that. All right. It's almost all right. But, so I highly recommend, these are bracelet or cuff forming pliers. If you notice, it's angled, it has an arch. And obviously you want it to go around your wrist. So what I do is I start at the end and I go around. I don't flip-flop like a lot of people tell you, oh, you can flip it around, and you know why? You know, you're going the same direction. Okay, so now I've got a nice little circle, and I just simply pull it just a little bit. Pull it out. Is it going to fit? Yes, it does. So, grab your polishing cloth. Yeah. They get ugly and gross, but that's okay. Go across that. Rub it really nice. Go across the whole thing. And there you go. There's your bracelet. So, I hope I addressed all the concerns. How to get it straight. How to get a nice indent. So even from here you can see it. I hope that addressed what you were asking. Now, as far as getting the right strike, you're gonna have to just practice. I have a pretty heavy hand myself, so sometimes I get too deep in there, and then what that'll do is you'll actually see the sides of your stamp on there, and that's just not good. But one good whack generally does it. Now, if you're working with, say, one of these big guys, I don't even remember what size this guy is, but he's an Impress Art also. This is one from one of their mandalas. This one, to do this one, and I've got this little scrap here, so I'm going to show you here. You can go down so you can see what I'm doing. And this one's going to be a lot harder. So you're going to, the first thing is make sure you're sitting flush. That always helps a lot. You don't want to tilt or anything like that. And again, one good hit. And actually, I got a pretty good impression off that one hit. Of course, this is very, very thin. I think this is only 18. It's not bracelet blank. If I did it on a bracelet blank, let me go ahead and, I can't do it on that one. It's too thin. Let's see, yeah. I have another bracelet blank aluminum. I don't. Oh. Let's see. I got these. These are kind of cool. Little bitty thing here. Again, you can see where they press stamped it. This is rounded. This is not. So I'm going to take that off real quick. And instead of doing a monogram, we'll just do this big stamp. And this is aluminum. We're going to line up our stamp. We'll put it straight in the center right here. Again, make sure that it's flush. One good hit. And there you go. So, I don't know, you can tell how hard I'm hitting, but it's a solid tap. I generally never have to do more than one. So, just a really good solid tap. Now, the great thing about this is, say I didn't get a really good image. I could simply come back in here and kind of wiggle that around until it sets itself. You see that? It's actually moving the blank. So if I went back and hit another time, I'm not double stamping. So you want to lock that stamp in there as well as you possibly can. So just take your stamp, you know about where you are, and sometimes it gets a little fussy, but there we are. And again, so I could tap this again and I wouldn't get a double stamp. But you got to make sure that it's locked in there. If it's not locked in, you will get a double stamp and you'll ruin your design. So again, hope this helps, and everybody have a great day.